It was a delivery unlike any other in Woodland Park Zoo history. A pregnant gorilla, an emergency C-section, and a team of doctors stepping into uncharted territory. The moment brought together two worlds and revealed a connection they'll never forget. The team at Swedish First Hill helps bring more than 6,000 babies into the world every year. But this patient was one they never expected.
No, never.
A pregnant gorilla named Olympia.
Never in my career did I think I would be doing this.
For months, human doctors and zoo veterinarians monitored her just like any expectant mother with regular ultrasounds.
Technically much more challenging to obtain the images, plus there's a lot of fur.
But 5 days after her due date, doctors saw signs Olympia's baby was in distress, and the team made a decision never before made at Woodland Park Zoo: an emergency C-section on a gorilla.
Everything has to be perfect the first time. If something doesn't go correctly for Olympia, the consequences could be devastating.
It was a surgery they had performed countless times, but never like this.
It is so thick. The dermal layer is just so thick. It would be like making an incision through a callus, right?
There are so many similarities, but you cannot imagine how much bowel there is.
But for Nurse Lily Pang, the most important part of her job didn't change.
A patient is a patient to me. Even though she couldn't talk to us, still held her hand when she getting ready to do surgery. We still talk to her like we would talk to any patient.
Inside the operating room, the team relied on years of training. And then came the moment they'd all been waiting for.
Out comes the baby's body. Suzanne's applying pressure to the top of the uterus through the abdominal wall.
They put the baby in my arms. You can tell that baby's under general anesthesia. This baby's not breathing. We got to move.
Within moments, Dr. Andy Beckstrom had the baby breathing. But as a neonatologist, there was one thing he was used to hearing that never came.
He was just looking around at me, not crying. And I had to look at the zookeepers and say, hey, again, first time doing this, is this expected? Are we expecting to have him cry, or is this a regular transition? And she looked at me and said, actually, they don't cry at birth, because in the wild, if a baby is born and they cry, that's going to attract a lot of predators.
A delivery room first, and a rare collaboration between two types of caregivers.
It was definitely fun to watch the neonatologist and the nurse extrapolating in real time to what they know with a human infant and apply that to a gorilla baby, and with such success.
The first C-section in the zoo's history, delivering more than a baby gorilla, but a reminder of just how connected we are.
The biological connectedness of our species is profound.
Another gorilla named Jamani gave birth to a baby boy just 5 days before Olympia did, and immediately began caring for Olympia's baby. Jamani's own baby then began struggling to nurse, so zoo veterinarians and a neonatologist that you saw there in the story began bottle feeding him. Once he was healthy enough, they transferred him to Olympia, who is now raising him. So they've swapped babies. Olympia and Jamani do have a shared history, though. They both gave birth to sons for the first time back in 2012 at a North Carolina zoo, just a few weeks apart. They all lived together. They sort of raised their sons together. This is not unusual for these two moms to be a part of a family. Yeah. And I guess it's not unusual, according to the zoo, for gorillas to do that.
Yeah, well, they live in troops, so
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow,
they have the same father, so it's one big family, and at least the babies are being cared for. I think that's the most important thing.
Right, right. Fascinating to hear them explain what happened in that operating room.
Did they all move as a family here?
No, they didn't. So
the
these two moms did.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
there you go.
Wow, that's
a
incredible.
story
That's
that
a great
just
story.
keeps
Great work.
unfolding.
Absolutely.
Amazing
Yeah.
that now they know it can be done and how it can be done. Like, that's such great knowledge for the future.
That's so true. Yeah, test run. And there's a lot of fur. I like that she said.
There's a lot of fur.
A lot of
There's a
factors they
lot
didn't
of
think
fur.
And like a big cow. It's a lot of fur, a lot of skin.
But kudos to those
Amazing,
doctors who
yeah.
did amazing work.
Well done.